Hi, this is Mei Qi Pielitz. I'm the Executive Director of Office of Global Education. It is international office, but we also provide services to our domestic students. So that's why we call ourselves Office of Global Education. This semester, we brought in about close to 200 international students from 40 different countries. And basically, we are bringing the world to Clinton, Mississippi. And we provide an environment, we provide a platform for both domestic students and international students to interact, to get to know each other, to broaden their horizon. It's exciting to see how they learn from each other and how our international students enjoy our campus life so much. And that's something that they could not learn from TV, from friends, from all these Hollywood lifestyles. And that's the purpose of the Office of Global Education.
Welcome back from spring break. There's no doubt you've noticed some changes around campus since you've gotten back from the break. From blue building lights to the large MC letters outside the CAF. This is all in preparation for the inauguration of Dr. Blake Thompson next week. The theme is Animate, Faith, Family, and Futures. The ceremony will take place next Friday, March 29th on the Quad at 4 p.m. Events begin this weekend, and you can find a full list online at mc.edu/inauguration. This week, the tribes and clubs kicked off a game show themed Derby Week on Monday night. Teams competed in minute-to-win-it style games, followed on Tuesday with a doubleheader of competitions. Starting with the service project, tribes and clubs participated in a donation drive where Civitan finished in first place. The teams then competed in a food eating competition with 5 rounds from pizza and hot dogs to sour candies, and more events will follow later this week.
Last week's Tribes and Clubs finished the game show themed Derby Week with TV-style games and competitions around campus. On Wednesday night, it was Wheel of Fortune hosted by Thomas Gray and Swore Auditorium, followed the next night with Family Feud in Anderson Hall with TJ Williams and Emmy Fuson. Teams competed on Thursday night with the men of DeCardo finishing in first place. The final competition day of Derby Week was behind the MC Band Hall on the East Campus with a slime hockey competition. Teams battled in a slippery fashion to take home another Derby Week win before the final day of competition. The men of Cocoa took home first place. Moving on to the final day of Derby Week events, tribes and clubs gathered out on East Campus Green for a day of food, tailgating, fun, and games. There were many rounds of competition, including tailgate, a bake-off, and 4 rounds of relay events. The first was an egg toss competition, followed by a potato sack relay race. Next was a tug-of-war competition where the ladies of Kissimmee came in first, while the men of Cocoa won for the clubs. The final event was an inflatable and water relay race where organizations competed for the fastest time. The final results of the day landed Swannanoa in 3rd place, Civitan came in 2nd place, and the men of Cocoa took home first place trophy for the 4th year in a row. Along with the Derby Day excitement, there were also a couple CAB events around campus as well. There was a zombie tag event in Alumni Hall where teams signed up to compete, and on Saturday afternoon, students enjoyed the annual crawfish boil on the brick streets. It finally felt like spring as students gathered to enjoy food and music before the start of Inauguration Week. The inauguration events for Dr. Thompson began on Sunday night with a night of worship, and the FBC Chapel followed on Tuesday with a service in Provine Chapel. Students as well as the MC community were invited to attend. Students and faculty participated in the service, and Worship Collective led worship before Dr. Thompson gave a talk on what it's like to have a meal with Jesus. Maybe that meal includes barbecue because that's what was for lunch following the chapel service out on the CAF patio. Students and faculty gathered for a meal before moving over to the Quad for the H3 day of service. The MC community gathered to be the head, heart, and hands for a chance to serve the Clinton and Jackson communities. Groups traveled across the surrounding areas to places like local churches, children homes, and food banks. Some volunteers stayed on campus to help fill food bags for Extra Table, while others visited places in Clinton like the Morrison Heights, Second Harvest, and the Four Seas. Some volunteers traveled to churches in Jackson such as Grace City and the So Reap Feed organization. Inauguration events will continue later this week. The actual ceremony will take place at 4 p.m. on the Quad this Friday.
Last week we covered the first half of Inauguration Week, and today we've got the final events. On Thursday, students in the community were invited to an academic symposium in Swore Auditorium, where guest speaker Dan Jones focused on Christian higher education, followed by a panel discussion from various MC faculty. Directly after, students were invited for a meal out on the brick streets with some of Dr. Thompson's favorite food. There was live music and games before the final day of inauguration festivities began. On Friday morning, the MC community was invited to the Rhoda Royce Prayer Garden for the unveiling and dedication of a new statue by Dr. Samuel Gore. After a prayer ceremony, it was time for the big event. Many delegates from universities around the country were invited to join in the celebration of our 20th president, Dr. Blake Thompson, on the quad. Some of his closest colleagues helped celebrate the event before MC students gathered to pray for his future at Mississippi College. The ceremony was followed by a reception in the Piazza and Jennings Courtyard.
The Nenamusha Social Tribe hosted their first fundraiser of the semester last week on the Piazza called Cupcakes for a Cause. Students could purchase tickets for 3 cupcakes and the proceeds went to their philanthropy called the Orphan Door. The Orphan Door organization was founded by MC alum Jenny Blunt. She and her husband founded the organization in support of the Eagle's Nest Orphanage in Guatemala. The money they receive helps fund a school for the orphans as well as send medical teams throughout the year. If you're interested in supporting the Orphan Door organization, you can follow them on Facebook or contact NT Service Chair Lindsay Huber.
I'm Ann Hackbarth, and I'm one of the 2 people in charge of Choctaw Fest this year as a part of Campus Activities Board. So what we have tonight is we have 3 artists. They're all fairly local. We also have food trucks and a lemonade stand, and we paid for that so that all the students that came could get tickets and eat. We gave out free t-shirts, and we set up long games and just wanted to create a really cool environment for students to enjoy some live music and have a really good time just like socializing with their friends. So we just had a really great time putting this on and kind of changing it up and trying something new with the spring semester. We wanted to build that anticipation, and I think it worked really well.
My favorite thing about Choctaw Fest, I think number 1 is that we work all day together to create this, and I love spending time with the CAB members, so I love that so much. But I think truly my favorite part is when you get to step back and watch all of campus just sit and enjoy and listen to some great music.
Hey, my name's Sam Stevens. We're here at the Mississippi College Dance Marathon. It's our 2nd annual dance marathon put on by the Freshman Leadership Initiative program. We're really excited to raise money for Blary Batson and what that hospital does for our community, just kind of rally around that and also raise awareness for what it does for the kids at Blary Batson.
Hi, I'm Kayla. This is the Dance Marathon. Flip throws this on to raise money for Blary Batson, which is a hospital. It's the only children's cancer hospital in all of Mississippi. Last year we raised $14,000. We raised over $17,000 today. We put on this to celebrate awareness just for the kids. All the kids here have been affected or are still being affected by Blary Batson, and we couldn't thank you enough.
I am Jan Hankins, and I am the director of the Mississippi College Dyslexia Education Evaluation Center. I know that's a mouthful, but we actually do therapy here for our students who have been diagnosed with dyslexia. We have psychometrists who have an educational background, who do a full psychoeducational battery of testing to diagnose the students with dyslexia. Not every child that comes in here is diagnosed with dyslexia. There are some other things that go on for those children. But one of the most exciting things that we've had happen recently is that the Parker Foundation donated some money for us to build a new addition for our testing center. And we had our grand opening last week, which I'm glad was last week because it's raining today and very cold outside. But we were very excited and thankful for them because it opened up 4 new testing rooms for us. It opened up a new office for us. We now have 5 separate therapy rooms in the older part of the house, which was also renovated. We have a new waiting room. So we've got a lot going on here. We're serving about 30 students right now with therapy. We have therapists that come over and work from the program that is the Mississippi Dyslexia Therapy Master's Program, and they can get their hours over here. And then we have therapists who have completed it who actually have their certified academic language therapists that work over here also. So stop by sometime and see us. I'll be glad to show you around.
Speaking of renovations, the Commons also received some updates over the holiday. Here's what some of the students had to say about the new look.
Commons is great. I mean, the furniture we have now is much better than the snake couches we had a few weeks ago.
Tables are really convenient. Much better for studying.
Hi, my name is Joelle Youngblood and I'm the editor of the Collegian, and it's been such a pleasure this semester to work for the 100th volume of the paper. I have an awesome staff around me who helps out, and we're just here celebrating today the 100th volume. So happy birthday, Collegian!